And ladies and gentlemen, Rob Thomson, stroke of genius. The platoons are working. So we criticized the manager for going, how come you don't have faith in your full-time starters, Marsh and Stott? And he says, yeah, we're going to have faith in him. And then he changes it up, and he goes Rojas, and he goes Sosa. And Mr. Sosa has been one of the best hitters in baseball. And what will he do today against the – they have a right-handed pitcher going today, right? Will Sosa be benched today, or will they ride the hot hand? Because yesterday, Philly Rob said that he wishes he could put 10 players in the lineup the way Sosa's hitting. Now, there are a lot of people out there that they'll overblow this whole thing. See, Sosa has to play every day. And I always caution people, take what you got, right? Take what you got. You got little drips and drabs of Sosa. He's delivering as a part-time player. That's what I think he is. Don't get carried away and say he should be a full-time starter somewhere. However, the question is, can the Phillies go all year with a platoon? And I start thinking back to the days when Jim Fregosi platooned Mickey Morandini and Mariano Duncan at second base. Mickey Morandini was at second base. Well, he was kind of platooned against left-handers. Mariano Duncan played way back in that magical 93 year. So is it possible that the Phillies all year could get away with Rojas platooning with Marsh and Sosa platooning with Stott? Stott, a number one pick, a guy they had a lot of faith in. Is he only a platoon player in this league? Brandon Marsh. They went and got him thinking he would be a full-time center fielder. Is he only a platoon player in this league? And will that work? These are the questions now as the Phillies are off to a pretty good start, and the Braves are crapping the bed like crazy and have almost taken themselves out of playoff contention, if you believe the statistics. So let's go to Billy. Billy, the platoon situation. I know you weren't on board with it, but what about now?
Yeah, good game last night. Rob Thomson, stroke of genius, you're right. But what I heard on the broadcast last night was this was already planned that Rojas and Sosa were supposed to be in the lineup for this game because Sosa wasn't supposed to have played yet. The only reason that he had played before yesterday was because of Turner's back injury. So I think the plan going into the season was this was going to be the first time Sosa and Rojas got the start. So I'm not sure if Rob Thomson's actually going to go with a true platoon. I think it's more likely you get a platoon in center with Marsh and Rojas than getting a platoon at second with Stott and Sosa. Even though Sosa is performing at an extremely high level, I'm with you. He's a six-man, as he describes himself. I don't think he is an everyday player.
Well, he would be a six-man. If you platoon him, he'd be a six-man.
But I don't think that you should be platooning for Bryson Stott yet. I still want to have faith that Bryson Stott can be competing for a batting title like we heard he would be a couple years ago. I don't think you make a decision 6 games into the season and say, we're going to be platooning the rest of the way. I think Stott deserves an opportunity as your everyday second baseman. And I think he'll be back in the lineup today, even though that may frustrate some people because Sosa won't be.
I do believe that Rob Thomson is thinking about platooning all year because he's got production out of Sosa. As long as he gets production out of Sosa, you can't not platoon him. You know, if a guy is on fire, you cannot not platoon him and play him again. Now, you're going to get fewer left-handers anyway, so he's not going to play as much as Stott. Well, but why wouldn't you? If he's going to hit the way he's hitting, and he's still going to be in that six-man capacity where he's not going to play that much, it's a no-brainer to platoon him.
Well, when you say if he keeps hitting like he's hitting, yeah, sure. I mean, if he's going to hit 600 this season, then yeah, keep platooning.
Yeah, until he cools off and he has some really bad at-bats, then you make Stott your everyday player. But I don't think there's anything wrong with platooning a guy who can hit left-handers who's going to give you that kind of performance but once every 3-4 days.
But here's the issue, and you've brought this up before. When we talk about building the confidence of a player, I think you need Bryson Stott. I think you need Bryson Stott to be an everyday second baseman. And if you're going to platoon him all season long against left-handed pitching, I think that stifles his ability to grow. I think Stott has to be an everyday player because Sosa, as good as he's been, and I love him as a bench piece, as a utility guy, maybe the best utility guy in baseball coming off the bench. But I think you need Bryson Stott, and in order to get the most out of him, I think he's got to play every day.
Yeah, I like Bryson Stott. You know, I'm high on Bryson Stott. I don't believe that one word that you just said.
So you're not going to give him a chance?
I really don't.
When do you start giving him a chance against lefties?
When you have a contending team, you don't give people chances. You have a contending team, you're about winning baseball games. And you got to do the best you can to win baseball games. Now, if you're a younger team and you want to develop them and you want to give them those at-bats, yeah. If you're not a contender, yeah. He plays every day. The Phillies are a contender. You can't be messing around and saying, I got to give Bryson Stott an opportunity, because the fact of the matter is right now there isn't that much of a drop-off with Sosa playing as infrequently as he's going to be playing, only against left-handers. So to me, it's a no-brainer. Against left-handers, I'm playing Sosa until he runs out of gas, and then maybe I go back to Stott as a full-time player. I am in it to win it. I am not in it to give a guy, like I need Bryson Stott. I don't need Bryson Stott to win something. I need a full team to win something. This is a good team. I got a great pitching staff. I've got a good offensive lineup. I can't worry about Bryson Stott's development.
Hold on. So you started the show talking about Edmundo Sosa, and that people are going to overreact.
No, but I'm not overreacting. I'm saying as a platoon player, he's got to play. As a platoon player, I'm not saying overplay him. I'm saying play him against the necessary left-hander.
And in the postseason last year, in the NLDS, they platooned Stott and Sosa at second, and I didn't like that. I at the time they had to do it because Stott couldn't hit left-handed pitching, but I don't want that to be the case this year. I don't want our second baseman to be a platoon.
What's the difference?
Because
the Phillies got to a World Series platooning a second baseman.
They didn't win it, though. But I agree with you in some respects. But it depends on who we're talking about. Like, look, Mickey Morandini. I loved the guy, Mickey Morandini. I remember when he had, what did he have, that inside the park home run or something in front of his mother. I just remember that, like, at Veterans Stadium. But he's not who – he didn't have the upside that Bryson Stott has. I look at Bryson Stott as potentially being a very good baseball player, and I want to give him an opportunity against lefties.
Morandini was a high draft pick. He wasn't a first rounder, I don't think. Well, maybe he was. I don't know. But listen.
Best power hitter that ever choked up.
I like
Barry Bonds was second to him.
I like Bryson Stott a lot. If Sosa is going to continue to hit, and he hits, let's face it, he's a raker. Everything he hit, I told you before, everything he hits is hard, and so like I don't have any problem at all platooning those two positions. I think you can get to the promised land platooning those two positions. I really do.
So you would platoon in center, even though we haven't talked a lot. We're giving Sosa his flowers. Johan Rojas, and let me quote Topper. Let me quote Topper. The best major league game he's played.
But he bunted.
He talked about Johan Rojas.
He tried to bunt 7 times.
And he went 2 for 2 with a walk and a sacrifice.
He had a single and a bunt single.
I'll take that from him, man. I'll take that from Rojas.
I'm willing more to platoon at second base than I am in center field.
So you'd rather give Brandon Marsh opportunities against lefties over Bryson Stott?
Yeah, because Rojas isn't as good a hitter as Sosa. You miss my logic here. Sosa's a hitter, all right? Rojas is not a hitter, so there's no reason for me to platoon there.
No, I mean, look, if Rojas can get the bunt down like he was, Marsh couldn't do that. In the first game of the season, Marsh tried the bunt. It looked ridiculous. So I don't know, man. I just think that, for me, Bryson Stott's upside is a lot higher. All of a sudden now you're Mr.
Bryson Stott. I've never heard you praise Bryson Stott ever. Now today you're Mr. Stott?
I did my whole show last weekend about Bryson Stott.
Well, I didn't hear your show on the weekend.
I think he could be the X Factor, man.
I think he could be the X Factor.
If he can hit over 280 again at the bottom of that lineup, look what you got when Sosa was hitting yesterday. Look at what that did being at the bottom of the lineup there.
All right. It's the Mike Missanelli Show. It's a full show today. We're going to talk about a lot of stuff, including Joel Embiid. He's getting surgery. And I'm delighted that he's expected to make a full recovery. What in hell is that? Expected to make a full recovery. We'll talk about it. 610-632-0975. Back after this.
Hey everybody, it's Bill Colarulo. Thanks for watching. We appreciate it. Make sure you like and subscribe to our channel so you can engage during the show, and you're not going to want to miss all the content that we post. It's not only the live videos, it's videos after the fact. It's our shorts. It's all the content you want as a Philadelphia sports fan. Looking forward to connecting.